Here's a GRE critical reasoning question. Pause the video, read this problem, try it out on your own, and then we'll discuss together. All right. An investor is considering putting money into two different funds, Florin Capital and Gilder Partners. Florin's manager makes the following argument. Over the last 30 years, the companies currently included in our fund have cumulatively provided an average annual return of 14.1%. In the same time frame, the companies currently included in Gilder's fund have only returned 8.2% annually. Clearly, we've done a better job of managing our investors' money. Now, this is a weaken question. It's saying, which of the following, if true, would weaken the argument above? And let me just say something about critical reasoning questions. You always want to look for a weakness. That should be automatic. When you're dealing with critical reasoning and they give you some argument, you immediately want to start poking holes in that argument. So if you haven't already, maybe go back into the argument and see if you can identify where something fishy is going on, because I assure you there's something shady happening here, but I don't want to spoil it. So let's take a look at the answer options. Okay, Florin Capital has been accused of relying on illegal inside information to make investment decisions. Well, let's examine the conclusion, the claim of this argument, the big conclusion. We've done a better job of managing our investors' money. I never said we've done a better job of managing our investors' money legally or following all the rules, but it doesn't matter whether this accusation, I should note, it's not even a confirmed fact, but it's been accused. It doesn't even matter if that's true or not, because it's irrelevant to the claim of whether they've done a better job of managing their investors' money. So that's out. Okay, past performance is not a guarantee of future results. I mean, that's a true statement, and one that every financial institution or investment professional kind of has to say. But it doesn't weaken the argument, because the argument is not making any claims about future results, right? It's saying we've done a better job, past tense, of managing our investors' money, not claiming that we're going to do a better job in the future. So that doesn't weaken, again, this claim. We want to keep the focus right on this, right? So that's out. Okay. Florin and Gilder have not invested in any of the same companies. Well, even if that were true, right? If that were true, it wouldn't weaken the argument. If anything, it might strengthen it, right? Like, they haven't invested in any of the same companies and Florin did better. Well, maybe Florin is better at picking companies to invest in. So that's out. Okay, then we get down to these two, which seem very, very similar because they're both referencing one particular company, but only one of these two weakens the argument. Let's start with answer option D. Wesley Corp, which is the largest holding in Gilder's portfolio, recently underwent a restructuring. How would that weaken the argument? I mean, Gilder picked this company. They put it in their stock portfolio, or their fund here, right? Their portfolio. Even if that's true, doesn't weaken the argument, right? Again, maybe it strengthens it because Gilder wasn't prescient enough to foresee the restructuring. So that one doesn't do it. The correct answer here is E, and I'm going to tell you why. Florin used to own Humperdinck Industries, a company that went bankrupt 5 years ago. Let's go back to the argument. And remember what I was saying, there's something weird, something fishy going on in the argument. Did you see it? If not, I'll highlight it right now. Over the last 30 years, the companies currently included in our fund and the companies currently included in Gilder's fund. So are we taking into account all of the companies that Florin has ever invested in? No. We're only looking at the ones that are around today and in their portfolio. And the fact that, if this is true, right, that Florin used to own this company that's now bankrupt, well, they're not included in this calculation. This is something called, in case you're interested, survivorship bias. In other words, we're giving Florin an advantage because the ones that it owns currently are the ones that survived and they did better. But it could well be that Florin is invested in a bunch of bankrupt companies, and that's their true rate of return, right, would be much, much lower than this. Just to put a very fine point on this, I qualified the type of companies that I'm talking about. I'm only examining the companies that are currently included in our portfolio. The fact that this other one was in my portfolio, right? We used to own it, but now it's not around anymore, weakens the argument because it points out that maybe we're not getting the full picture here. So the correct answer option here is E. For more GRE tips and tricks or to sign up for my online course, follow the link on my profile.